Skip, remind you now, he only weighed 144, so he was basically 10 pounds, basically under the weight. But he wiped it out.
A much smaller guy just because he's at the end of the road, but the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
Have to start playing catch up in rounds 4, 5, 6. Believe me, by the 7th round, Canelo is going to be a little muscle fatigue, right? We've seen that.
Ever crossed your mind? Have you ever thought about that?
I always say like 37 is good time to go. It's not because I can't be in the boxing anymore, but you know, sometimes you need to do something else. So I'm being in October I turned 20 years as a professional fighter. So it's meant a lot of years. So
what's up, fight fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into what could be one of the most pivotal fights in modern boxing history, Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Now let's be real. This isn't just another super fight. This might be the final chapter in Canelo's legendary career.
That fight now differently based on how Canelo performed against Skull Eddie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow.
It wasn't just the fact that he couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired and actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that.
Shannon Sharpe didn't hold back. He warned that Crawford's speed, skill, and stamina could not only defeat Canelo, but possibly end his dominance forever.
Now, the man said, now it's both good. Say, not going to beat me. You say, I'm telling you, I guarantee I'm going to beat you. So you know what I'm saying? That's how Crawford is. That's how he feel. He believe in his heart. And you could tell it. You could look at him in his eyes. You know what I mean? And a lot of people believe that Crawford going to win this fight. And a lot of Mexican people.
Yeah, they supporting him. They supporting him.
A lot of Mexican people, you know. So they got their formula why Crawford going to beat him. But it's a tremendous fight. I think Canelo, like I say, is a living legend. You know, and everything that he do. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of Mexicans don't like him. But I love him. I think he does everything good in the ring. I think, you know, from swag to everything. I just love Canelo. I can't take it away from him. You know, he had them little allegations and everything. Yeah. And that's a damper on him. But I try not to focus on that. You know what I mean? I know he got in there with the baddest guys, the toughest guys, and he came through with flying colors. So I give him all the credit. Going up there fighting Bivol when nobody knew who Bivol really wasn't paying attention to him. That man was a 25-year-old champion, the reigning champion, title defense under his belt, and young and good. And Canelo fought him. So, you know what I'm saying? That was a challenge. You feel me? Had the height, had the reach, had a lot of, you know what I mean? So I give Canelo none but credit. I thank him for allowing us to get this fight. And you see what Crawford said. I didn't get to Canelo got to fight these guys with the names. I didn't necessarily get to fight all the guys with the names when I wanted to, but I got him. Yes. And that's the how it coming around full circle. And when God got it for you, nobody can be against you. And so I think he's the most deserving fighter of that outside of Benavidez. You know what I mean? Yeah. Besides that, but Benavidez still doesn't bring the super fight dynamic to it. Yes. It's a really good fight with Benavidez, but this is a super fight. Exactly. We have legends fighting each other. David Benavidez has yet to become a legend. He's still growing in the sport. Absolutely. Crawford is a legend. 14 years in the sport, 10 years as champion, 11 years going on. You understand? Undisputed 2 different times, fighter of the year, all those different things. So, like I say, and the mystique of Crawford is legend in itself. The mystique of Crawford. So, I mean, you know, so it's a super fight. Again, I thank Canelo Alvarez for taking the fight.
Think about that. Even Eddie Hearn, Canelo's longtime promoter, hinted this could be it. After 20 years as a pro, Canelo himself admitted he's thinking about life beyond boxing. The fire might still be there, but the grind, it's catching up.
He's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy, too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, you know, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. You know, the guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you fight a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick. Just saying, guys, so nobody come at me. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one, not worrying about anybody, you know, saying, hi, you're wrong, or talking. But it'll be a...
WARNS was able to knock out Berlanga, but not Canelo.
It's because Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now, you know, we've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. You know, he's up there, you know, and not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself. And not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power that nobody believed.
Crawford, he's the hungriest lion in the jungle. Undefeated, tactical, dangerous. And let's not forget, many are now saying he's the better man, even among Canelo's own Mexican fan base. Canelo's recent performances against Ryder and Skull showed signs, slower movement, less aggression, and power that just doesn't hit like it used to.
To attempt to do something that is so incredible, so magnificent, so amazing as a fighter and for his legacy, and trying to beat Canelo Alvarez, the 168-pound undisputed champion. My fear is, if he does that, if he accomplishes that, if he is able to succeed in accomplishing such a magnificent goal, people will immediately discredit Terrence Bud Crawford and his victory, calling him a drug.
I love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that
Crawford.
all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
Always prepared.
He's always ready.
He's
always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's going to.
Robert Garcia put it best. Canelo's tired, but here's the twist. Canelo still praises Crawford calling him better than Bernard Hopkins and even Floyd Mayweather. That level of respect says everything. He knows what's coming.
I'm feeling good. Work has been going great. And, fight time, we're going to be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't, think it was, a fight that he wanted. So I didn't really know. But, thanks to Turkey, Alashik, he made it possible. And, we got one of the biggest fights in the last decade, happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
When you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make, a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, we expect everything in there.
Terrence got to be Terrence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terrence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skills.
Stephen A. Smith believes Bud wins by decision. Pavlik said, Canelo's playing it safe now, not fighting to dominate, but to survive. That won't work against Crawford, so what's it going to be? A passing of the torch or a defiant final stand?
The best fighter he has ever faced. He says that he believes that Terrence Bud Crawford is better than legendary Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins, Oscar De La Hoya. There's no shock there. Tito Trinidad. But the shock came in where he said that he believes he is definitely better than Russian superstar undisputed light heavyweight world champion who beat Canelo Alvarez, I thought, pretty handily, 9 rounds to 3. I thought 10 rounds to 2, but 9 rounds to 3 at worst. He beat Canelo Alvarez in Dimitri Bivol. And then he said that, but this is not a shocker, he said this before, that Terrence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. Now, I personally don't believe that. I believe that Floyd Mayweather is the better fighter. But nonetheless, Terrence Crawford is a great in his own right. But this just goes to show that Canelo Alvarez has learned something, a thing or two, from Floyd Mayweather. He showed some things he took from Floyd Mayweather from their fight, which he lost every single round to a 36-year-old going on 37-year-old Floyd Mayweather. In 2013, he lost every single round to Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather always build up his opponents. Always, okay? He always build up his opponents. He never tear down his opponents. He learned, if you tear down your opponent, how you get credit for your opponent, for the win.
He's able to be aggressive, not be affected by Bud's punches, and just keep, attacking and imposing that will on him. And then Bud being a dog that he is, and, just saying, you know what, I'm going to go. I'm letting loose. Yeah. I think that can change the effect on Bud, and I think that will be the way that Alvarez can win that fight.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so what do you think? Obviously, if Bud remains slick, what outside of that could cause Canelo?
One thing's for sure, September 13th at Allegiant Stadium, we're witnessing history. Drop your predictions in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this fight, it's not just boxing, it's legacy.